All right, thanks for joining today. I'm joined by a special guest out of Minnesota. He goes by the name of Knoble. He's had a song on Spotify that's hit over 2 million listens, and he's performed in Minnesota. He's a student, he works a job, but he makes time for his passion, and that's music. So he's going to sit here and we're going to talk a little bit about how he first started making music.
Hell yeah. Thanks for the introduction. That was tough. I like it. Yeah, music. Man, I started making music about 6 years ago. Uh Me, Pardyalone, Species, Gavin, JG. I don't know if you know who all those people are, but probably some of them. We all started about the same time. So yeah, back in Big Lake, Minnesota. It was a small town, but a lot of artists from there. So
Yeah, what were those like first few weeks like? Like when at first like who was the first one that had the idea and like how did that all come to be?
so it originally started, we all kind of started on our own, weirdly enough, but like I feel like a lot of towns have a lot of people that make music, but not a lot grow to like be like at the level that we're at. Not that we're like huge, but like to
But known
actually keep
throughout
doing
the state.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, we all kind of had like tied together in like a similar group of friends that were like skaters. We used to go to the skate park all the time. That's how I originally met like Party. We used to scooter a lot. He was really good. And then we used to go up to like third layer and kind of just kick it there. But then we didn't like talk for a little while. It was probably like a year or two like went by where like none of us really hung out anymore. And then we all kind of started hanging out again, kind of just by, I don't even know, like coincidence maybe. And the music definitely brought us like closer. And then we kind of just developed because we all worked, like we all made music together. So I think our sound, like all together, kind of grew similar. So we were all forced to like keep up with each other's quality. So like Party, who's like was the best, and I mean, probably still is, but we would like we would definitely like I'd hear his music and I'd be like, okay, well, I can't make like work like crappy music anymore. He's getting better, so then I had to kind of get better, and I think that's how it worked for a lot of us. So
That's cool though. I mean, a lot of people like you have your friends in high school, even before high school, and it's not that you're not friends with them, but you all get into like different paths on
hmm
life. Like you all have different interests. So the fact that you guys kind of maybe didn't go the same path the whole way, but like found something that you all enjoyed to do in your own right, that's kind of cool. And it's created
yeah.
some cool songs you guys have made together and
Oh yeah, we
cool
got
opportunities. You guys got to perform together and
that was unreal. That was probably the best day of my life. Was so much fun. But yeah, making music together, that was what was it? I was about to go off on something there. Shoot, I lost it. Well, there
I
that
ruined it.
goes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
So let's go back to 2020 when you dropped Blue Lights that had Toxic Revolver on it. What
hmm
was that whole process like for you? Like when you dropped the album, did you release the single before or was it just part of the album when it came out?
So, Blue Lights is, looking back on it, I can't believe I made an 18 song album like that early on in my like career, I guess, because I was just making music every day and I didn't really have a set style, so I was working through a lot of different sounds. Um, yeah, I remember Pretty Toxic Revolver on that album. I wasn't even gonna put it on there, and then I really liked Machine Gun Kelly's one. Then he posted his, and I was like, okay, well, I want to do like a version to that beat. And then I didn't really think much of it when I put it on there. I thought of it just kind of as like a bonus track to the project, and people just started streaming it a lot, especially because MGK's version wasn't out yet. So mine was really the only way that they could, and I didn't get any issues with like copyright or anything because I I mean, I was a tiny artist, no one cared. Shawn Mendes wasn't going to do anything. So, yeah, that just kind of went. And I remember when I dropped it, it was kind of the first time that people in high school like knew that I was making music, and it was not well received. I definitely got like made fun of a good amount when I put that song, like that album out. But I mean, look at it now, so who cares, right? Like
Yeah.
pretty insane what it's done.
Yeah. Was that difficult to like keep grinding out? Obviously in college now, and that's like obviously you went through that, but like was that difficult like on a, like just like a daily basis of knowing that going into school that was going to be something you could have
Oh,
to deal with every day?
yeah, I really can't believe that I put up with it for how long I did. I really loved making music. And I mean, I still love making music, but like when you first start, I think, and when you first realize that you can make a certain quality of song, it was just like, I want to make music all day, all the time. Like I never wanted to stop. It was pretty awesome to be able to just, the second that music started reaching a level of quality that like was around like the other music that people would listen to, that was the best feeling ever. And that's, I think, why I made so many songs at that time.
And had you put out much before that, or is that kind of like your first, like the stuff on Spotify? Is that like your first stuff? Because it sounds like
Uh,
super well finished, and like it seems
not,
like it
not
would have been
really,
stuff
no.
before this.
There's definitely, so if I was to go through all the, I had more than, I had a couple albums that I definitely made before that. That was the first one. And I still don't love that that project's out there because there's a lot of songs on there that really are bad in my opinion, that I think people like would go to my catalog and hit shuffle and they're going to hear songs that aren't great. But I started with one song, I can't remember. It was like Blacked Out. Ooh, wait, even before that. Shoot. Yeah, I made this album called Archives, which was like just a bunch of kind of random, like me attempting to make songs for the first time. And then I did one called New Perspectives that had a bunch of more bad songs on it. Not, I didn't make a good song yet. And then I made this album called Under Influence, which used to be on Apple Music and Spotify. I think you can still find it on SoundCloud. And then that album had a song called Blacked Out, which was the first good song I think I made. Not like good, but like I could see how someone would listen to it on their own time. And that's why I called my, not last album, but like the album before that, Still Under Influence. So that was like a sequel to that because I really liked the sound I was doing in that project, but the quality just wasn't there for me to leave it up. So
Yeah, and that's I mean that's the process of doing anything, right? When you first start out, it's your first shots aren't going to be the best shots you ever take.
mhm.
Hopefully, if you stick with something, hopefully they
Yeah.
get better, right? I think sometimes that's nice to see too. Like obviously, I understand like some of the older stuff taken down, but like sometimes having like maybe like you're not the most proud of everything on Blue Lights, but if someone
Mhm.
starts making music and like the first thing they hear is like Dear Music and some of your newer stuff, they're like, wow,
Mhm.
this is like really high quality. I could never do this. But then they go back and they hear something that
Mhm.
even if they can't do it now, they feel like it's more achievable and gets them like doing
Yeah.
something. I think that's cool in its own right.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely think it's important to show the process of music because even now, like it's hard for me to think about how I have like the Blue Lights album out or like my Summer Tapes album. Like those are both just out there for people to listen to that are part of my catalog. But then I have songs that I'm making now like every day that are miles better than anything like from 2020 and back. Like so that's like a little bit tough because I feel like the songs that I'm making now should be out instead of those, but that's kind of like a battle that I've been kind of going through, I guess, trying to make the decision.
Yeah. When did so you mentioned like Blue Lights, like you liked some of the stuff on there, but not all of it. Was there a
hmm
time, like a project you put out where you were at the point where you were like, okay, I'm like, and sometimes that changes after time, but where you were
hmm
proud of like, I feel like this is like a good representation of where I'm at.
Uh, I think that, mm, I mean, obviously, I think my favorite album that I've dropped would be like the Zenith Project. But when I look at, I think one that really shows me as a whole as an artist, it would definitely be Zenith. I think that has the most. I think that is where I'm at right now the most. Where I think before that I was kind of just focusing on a sound for a project,